You know, use the excuse that I'm a man and all of these stereotypes about men, and it's an excuse to run over again. When I don't give you what you want right on it, you can do that. But you got people killed doing that. Natalie Bollinger deserved better than what she got, but I deserve better than what she gave me. The least she could have done. See, here's the thing. Now, she could have let me be good to her. That would have been no problem. But if she's not going to let me be good to her, I leave. I don't want to be an asshole to anybody. If I'm going to be victimized by you, I'm going to leave. If you're going to pretend that I might victimize you, I will leave. If you pretend that I stalked you for doing what you asked me to do, I will fucking leave. The problem is that anybody can play victim, call me mentally ill, and I won't be heard. People that have the resources to defend themselves want to tell me about how I'm not trying. First, these predators bullied me, and ignoring it was not an option. These people isolated me and separated me from my friends and loved ones. There was a lot of sober people I was friends with in Boulder. Y'all don't get that. A lot of sober people. A lot of people with jobs. I was one of them. But all it takes is one lie, and that can turn into hundreds of crimes that some innocent dude supposedly committed just because a girl who didn't get what she wanted right when she wanted it pretends that she was stalked. The evidence shows that I was the one who was stalked after Virginia. She wasn't stalked in Virginia. I was invited to Virginia, and when I wasn't there fast enough, I was peer pressured and bullied into going by, hey, Sean, if you're not already on the road, I'm going to kill myself. And what did she do? You know, I had thought that she got into an accident within 24 hours of calling me and saying that. And then I realized later that she posted that up almost a day and a half after it happened. She lied, and people have not stopped hurting me ever since. I have not been able to go to a friend or loved one and get help without literally giving up everything that I have to be bullied to the point that I just want to kill myself. And I'm not allowed to say that, or you will punish me for killing myself. See, there's two ways that this goes. Number one, your friend or loved one is bullied to the point that they want to kill themselves. They come to you for help. You actually care about them, and you help them turn it in immediately. The police take your report. They start an investigation. And maybe something gets done. Probably will. If you help your disabled loved one, if you help them to do the things that you're telling them to do alone, if you actually help them with those things right away, it does make a difference, but you have to care. If I go in right away, I'm going to be talked over. I'm going to be talked at. They're going to play every single word game that they can, like that lady at the Department of Health and Human Services. No, she didn't do her mandated reporter's job. She didn't contact any of those places, and she should have done so immediately. She should have made a call for my safety. But she didn't do that. Not only that, she wanted to send and refer me to the places that I'm trying to turn in. Now here's the thing, is that the people that she is sending that to are people who I am trying to turn in. The likelihood of them knowing that I'm trying to turn them in is pretty high. The fact that I have it recorded on my YouTube channel, that's key right there. Is that lady needs to look at the fucking evidence. She's not doing anything about my evidence. Instead, she's just going to go ask my predators. Oh, did you do wrong things to Sean? No? Okay, that's fine. Sean, she says she didn't do anything wrong. And we can't have that. That's why it was important for me to try to get her to do her job before I was stuck out here this weekend taking abuse even more. Yes, neglect is abuse. These people's solution to my problems is for me to spend all of my money to stay homeless, to travel around and never get to establish myself anywhere. I was bullied to the point that I needed to leave here. In the first week that I was here, I was bullied by law enforcement and the homeless community, and I have tried hard to be nice to these people and to try to follow the law. But you see how I have to hurry up and wait on everyone else's schedule. These predators bullied me over and over again, and it hurt. And I went to my friends and family for help. And instead of helping me, they pushed me to the point of committing suicide. I actually attempted suicide multiple times in 2017 and 2018 and 2019. When I tried to commit suicide in the Boulder County Jail on multiple occasions, it was after being retaliated against for trying to turn in guards. They kept pretending that I was suicidal when I tried to turn them in so they could put me on suicide watch. And then when they put me on suicide watch, I tried to kill myself. They know exactly what they're doing. It's dehumanizing. Being forced to literally break the law to try to get help because they do those things. To have to break the law because your friends and family don't care. The difference between an innocent man being raped in prison over and over and over again is whether or not people speak up. Do they care, or are they going to stand on the sidelines and see what happens? How about look at fucking evidence? Because if you don't speak up for the victim, they'll just railroad us. The mentally ill tag means we should be allowed to kill ourselves because you kill us so frequently, and we have to be afraid of being murdered everywhere we go. We have to be afraid of being murdered by police. If we try to turn in crimes against us, we have to be afraid of being murdered by police. More than any black person in a house, more than any Native American on a reservation, more than any other person nationwide, the homeless, the disabled, and men have to be afraid of being, that's right, murdered by police over domestic violence is what they'll say. Oh, well, it's his fault he was murdered. We're just going to pretend like he was possibly, could have, maybe. No. Would my family care if those predators who threatened to kill me had actually put a bullet through my goddamn head? Of course they would have. Of course they would have. Because they could have made a profit off of finally caring about at least one of my predators. If the police had fucking shot me in the head, what are the chances that my friends or family would have tried suing for it? Oh, my mom would probably try to sue for it. My dad would probably try to sue for it. Both of them are very lazy people who are motivated only by money. My dad is a sexual abuser, but not physically. He kept on forcing dirty magazines into my hands and telling me, I want you to make that on the computer. At 15 years old. You guys don't think that you should be held accountable for the things that you do when you've been drinking? Well, you are all abusive to me when you're drinking. Christopher Tapp was abusive to me when he was drinking. With the false charges on me over what Waylon Lolita did, I was instructed that I couldn't go to the police. Well, duh. When Christopher Tapp assaulted me, you say, oh, well, why didn't you go to the police? I fucking couldn't. I had to go to a friend or family member, and I went to Tabitha Michelle Cook to tell her about it. She typed, oh, sweetie, I'm sorry. It would fucking help me turn it in. God damn it. This is the help that I'm getting, lady. Someone I'm calling himself Underwear Pete type, do you have many friends, Sean? I literally have 0 friends, Underwear Pete. Have you not been noticing this? I'm still on this channel trying to get help turning this stuff in because nobody has time. I have to beg people for literally months or years to keep their word after they promised to help me to turn the crimes in. Instead of helping me, they protected my predators by never coming forward. They allowed my predator's narrative to stick, even though the evidence shows otherwise. Nobody was going to look at it, and nobody has. Go fuck yourself, Underwear Pete. Stop fucking typing. This is none of your goddamn business. You have gone out of your way not to understand any of this, and your questions have no fucking bearing on the goddamn situation, you piece of shit. I am fucking disabled, you goddamn fucking whore hole. Don't ever type at me again. Matter of fact, go fuck yourself. You know, don't type at me that I'm a good person. Whether or not I have a fucking job, it's obvious I don't have a fucking job, you fucking twit. Do you not fucking stop to listen to the victim? Stop changing the subject. Listen to me. Listen to me. All you're doing is changing the subject. Are you on fucking drugs like everyone else? Is that what it is, Underwear Pete? Don't type at me that I deserve better. Help to make it better. Help to make it better. I will tell you the steps to help make it better. Are you going to help to do those things, or are you going to argue and make excuses before I've gotten to speak? Oh yeah, but I've been on my channel explaining this for 6 years and you still don't get it. Underwear Pete types, I am completely sober. I live very far away from you. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter if you're in Paris, France. Literally, if you're in Paris, France, you can call in the crimes against me. If you're in Glasgow, Scotland, you can call it in. If you're in Hellenbach, Germany, you can call it in. There was a man on business in Russia. He was on business in Russia. And he was able to call in a crime that was committed against his at-risk son, all the way from Russia. Anyone who sees these crimes can turn them in. See, that's the thing about showing people evidence. If I show them evidence, they can help to turn it in and verify that they've seen it. You know, I do my illegal activities publicly. So that it's seen. When I do the things that my predators have done to me, the evidence that you won't look at and won't share, that you'll just type pretty words at me, but you're not trying to share any information. You're not trying to gather or collect any of the evidence or look at it. You're just typing to me like a fucking cunt on my fucking YouTube channel. This channel is not dedicated to AA meeting style bitch meetings. This channel is dedicated to assisting the other victims, all of them. It's about working together to protect all of us, to protect each other. But look at all these people getting on my channel. They either want to type about their fucking opinion, which has got nothing to do with the situation at hand, or they want to type to me about their problems over and over and over and over again. Well, fine, I will take a day to address your problems if that's your idea of helping me, but it's not help. It's hurtful. That's filling my brain with a bunch of shit that is unimportant to protecting me. Underwear Pete typed, what can someone like me do to help you? First of all, you can go public with it. You can go through and help find some of these videos. The ones from just the shit from the last few days. You can grab those videos and share them and make your own commentary of your understanding to the best of your ability. More importantly, you can call Adult Protective Services, explain that there is this much evidence just on the internet alone that I am telling the truth about being harassed and threatened and manipulated and bullied. That there is evidence of these crimes committed against me in Tillamook, and that the officers have done everything that they can to avoid the law. I've posted up the law on here too. Underwear Pete, stop. Stop telling me what to do or trying to give me ideas or solutions for help. If you're not going to help me with those things, understand that my disabilities prevent me from doing those things for myself. Stop making suggestions and try to understand. Underwear Pete typed, set up an OnlyFans account. That's what set me off there. It's because it's an emotional thing. A lot of people have told me what to do and called that help. I was trying to get help from, right before Natalie was killed, matter of fact. I was trying to get an advocate and start a GoFundMe. I went to a woman named Shauna Sinclair for help with that. That's when she let me know that her daughter had been abducted. So I made a post about that. A few hours later, I got a phone call that Natalie Bollinger was missing, and people tried pretending that the missing persons post about Shauna Sinclair's daughter going missing was me making a post about Natalie going missing before she went missing. Underwear Pete typed, you will get a lot of money, mostly from me, okay? I have been watching you for years. In what way are you disabled, Sean? You've been watching for years? I'm autistic, but in specific, I have sensory overload issues. If I'm stuck in public, especially in a state of crisis, I literally can't process anything. If two people are talking at once, I can't understand either one of them. I'm not interested in sex at all, but because I'm a male, I get treated like I'm predisposed to being a pervert. Natalie had sex with her predators. I have PTSD. I've been diagnosed with that. I've been diagnosed with Asperger's. There are things that I was diagnosed with in my youth that I grew out of, some of them, and some of them were misdiagnosed. That's what happens when you try to tell on a predator. They try to say whatever they can to dismiss whatever you say. The thing is, then, same as now, there are certain rules and regulations. And that's the great thing about it, is that you have to have a physician that you see for 6 months or more. You can't diagnose somebody with schizophrenia in a day. Let me tell you who has diagnosed me as schizophrenic, and I want you to understand how that affects me. Sheriff Scott DaCosta diagnosed me as schizophrenic. That's right, Sheriff Scott DaCosta of Dual County, Nebraska diagnosed me as schizophrenic. He is not capable of doing that. He then went around and told everybody that I was schizophrenic, everybody in town. I'm not just disabled in that way, I'm also disabled financially. By pressing false charges on me and incarcerating me over and over for crimes that were never committed. Every time that I was in there longer than 30 days, they'd take all of my disability money away from me, and I would have to jump through a bunch of hoops to get it back. And the situations with that disability money, if they'd have sent it to me while I had housing, it would have helped. They sent it to me a couple days after I lost housing. Sent me $12,000 all at once, and I had to be afraid of having that $12,000 in the bank and having it being taken away, because I'm not allowed to have more than $2,000 in my bank account when you're disabled, or they take your money away. But I also didn't have a bank account. I just had my Direct Express card. I tried to open a bank account at Adams Bank and Trust with that $12,000, and they wouldn't let me do it even with $12,000 in my hand. They told me they would write a letter, and this is the thing, is that I called up the lady who was supposed to be my advocate. She got people killed too. Her not doing her job as a mandated reporter got other people killed before they could speak up. Ragnarok or Ouroboros type love from Belgium. Ragnarok or Ouroboros type gay love. Happy love, huh? Seems to me this Ragnarok guy is a troll. I wonder what kind of Belgian he is. Is he trying to pretend like he's a Mr. Ed style of Belgian? Although Mr. Ed wasn't a Belgian. Belgian is a type of horse as well as a country, so a Belgian could be someone from Belgium. Ragnarok or Ouroboros typed, I'm joking, sorry. It's not funny. You know, I've been bullied my entire life and beaten up many times for being gay, and I've never been gay. Ragnarok or Ouroboros typed, I support you. How? See, I can't take care of myself. I can't take care of my finances. I can't support myself. No matter what country you're in, you can speak up about this. The way many of you who have the Natalie Bollinger things in your countries now, in your own languages, how you share that, you could share my side of the story. You could take a look at the evidence, and you could show the evidence. Show that they harmed me repeatedly, and that it wasn't just them, that it was also their friends. That I was the one stalked. You could show that, yes, in fact, I did curse. But there was a reason people were hurting me and threatening to kill my loved ones. You could share the evidence of them threatening to kill my loved ones. I've been posting that up, so much of it. Those of you with PTSD can explain about PTSD, what it's like. Those of you who are homeless and have had to try to turn in crimes to the police, only to be treated like you're a junkie. Zachary Johnson type, this guy doesn't understand how to take a joke. I'm unsubbing right now. That's not a joke. That's the thing, is that it's not funny. This is a serious situation, and I don't care if you unsub. I don't care. What sweat is it off of my back if someone who doesn't care about me leaves? You guys think it's funny. You think this stuff is funny, but it's not. It's hurtful. You don't understand how hurtful it is that you just watch for years and tell yourself there's nothing you can do. You think it's wrong? Well, instead of telling me that you think it's wrong, telling me you think it's wrong is all right. But speaking up means speaking up to others about it, telling others about it, bringing light to the situation. I can't find my rolling papers again. I'm fine with all of you unsubscribing. If I have a panic attack or a meltdown, you're going to pretend I'm a horrible person. If somebody does me dirty and I tell them to go away, you're going to pretend I'm a horrible person. I already know that. On the bright side, you guys are easy to get rid of. You are so easy to get rid of. If you want to get on here and make jokes about a very serious situation, understand that it's a serious situation and that I obviously, this Ragnarok Ouroboros type, despite the fact that he typed something I didn't think was funny, and despite the fact that I could have blocked him, I allowed him to defend himself and to try to understand the situation better. Ragnarok Ouroboros type, may I ask, why do you document this stuff on YouTube? Because I don't have a friend or family member to help me turn it in to the police or any of these agencies. And if I don't document it on YouTube, the evidence or my efforts, then I have no ability to show that I was going to make that effort before getting falsely arrested. There are multiple times where I knew that if I tried to turn in my predators, they were going to retaliate. Such is the situation when I went to Joseph Michael Lopez court date in May of 2018. I needed to try to kill two birds with one stone, so to speak. Although, because I said that, somebody's going to pretend that that means I'm threatening to kill wildlife here. If I use a figure of speech, they'll pretend that I'm threatening to kill people. If I explain that the Bible doesn't say to go kill people, Jesus, when they talk about the Jesus and how he hated all these people, no, he didn't. No, he didn't. He didn't say he hated them. And he didn't say for you to kill them. He said we're all going to die. And a lot of preachers like to say we all deserve to die. Depends on who you are, I guess. My opinion is none of us live forever because that would be horrible. Could you imagine being Lazarus? Living to see all your loved ones die? Every person you ever cared about? Special J33 type, Sean, I have followed you a while. Have you ever found someone to help you turn in your evidence? No, I haven't. I've had a few people that said that they would. And that's the problem, is that the people who said that they would didn't even try. I sent them a lot of evidence. I spent hundreds of hours sending stuff to Shannon Alvarado, sending stuff to Kayla. God, what was her name? Layla Johnson, aka Missy Johnson. If you look back in a lot of these Natalie Bollinger groups, her profile is now Layla Dunan, I believe. She changes the name on it. See, that's what a lot of these people do. They just pretend to be somebody who's going to help you, and then they play head games. See, I had to trust web sleuths. I traveled all the way to California because Shannon Alvarado was going to help me, but she was an alcoholic. There's a video on my channel called I Came Here for Help, not to see my friend OD. That was when I was in Bristol, Virginia, visiting a man named Brett Roloff. And yeah, he was literally digging through his own feces for a bag of drugs that he was obviously already overdosing on. He wasn't going to find it in the bag because the bag had burst and he'd absorbed it all. I document this stuff on YouTube because I need you to know what it's really like for us trying to get help. If you're called mentally ill in the United States, that means that you are protected by law. But if you don't have a friend or family member, then, well, any predator knows that they can just call you mentally ill and get away with it. People need, all of you, please, look up agencies here in Oregon and call them up and explain that this stuff is real. There was a guy today who was going to try on Monday, but he has to work on Monday. There was Mariah Johnson, and she wasn't able to because she had to run around for a bunch of court stuff over the abuse she was going through. There was Graham Milborn, but he was too busy basically being the servant to assholes like Joshua Eichelberger. And, he's a really happy, sunshiny guy, so instead of finding out the details, he wants to talk about Jesus. Fuck your Jesus, Graham. Fuck your Jesus. Your Jesus ain't real. This Jesus, if you want to tell somebody, a victim of a crime who is coming to you for help, and then literally all you do is ditch them to go hang out with an alcoholic who treats you like shit, or talk about the Jesus nonstop. It's pretty fucked up. Special J33 typed, I have also seen videos of you being victimized and abused by police. That was horrible, Sean. Well, it's still happening. The last few days, it wasn't just police. I went to their... Well, everybody keeps telling me we need to go over their head. They won't let me. They keep playing fucked up head games. Like, for the last 6 months, every time that I was calling to see a superior officer to try to turn in people like Lotham, Officer Lotham. I was going to say Deputy Lotham. When I had to turn in Officer Lotham, and I had to turn in Officer Sadler, I ended up with Lotham showing up repeatedly. Lotham, not his superior. I called to have a superior, not to be bullied by literally the people I was trying to turn in. And say, have you tried turning it into the cops? Yeah, I did try turning it into the cops. They literally sent out the officers I was trying to turn in. It's a small department. I've been through all of them. Now the thing is, Special J33, you have a name. You can help to turn this in. You can call Adult Protective Services and explain to them that there is video after video after video of police and others victimizing me, as well as the scary situations that I've been in. If you type in the word Computaco, Computaco, 1, and then Computaco 2. You can go all the way up to 12 or 13, I believe. There was a woman who stole my phone, and that was my endeavor to get my phone back from the woman who stole it. No, Computaco was my endeavor to get my computer back from a tweaker who I'd let sit at my computer because he wanted to contact his loved ones, and he stole my computer instead. Computaco starts off with, or Computaco 1 or 2 starts off with me walking past a bus stop there in Tacoma, Washington, and as I walk by a man who is at the bus station with a heroin needle hanging out of his arm, passed out. I wasn't sure if he was dead or not. I'd already called it in by the time I walked by and recorded it, and then the guy who's behind the bus stop there told me he knew where my computer was at. You know why they helped me? Because I explained to him that there was evidence on there of child molesters and rapists, that it needed to be turned in. Special J33, you know what's really messed up is that since your name is Special J33 on YouTube, I mean, who do I tell them? I go, oh yeah, Special J33. Special J33 has seen videos of me being victimized and abused by police. They're gonna go, dude, don't fucking waste our time. There's also people that didn't understand that if you tell me that you're going to help me, and you tell me that you won't ignore my calls, that if I text you first, then you'll get back a hold of me, and then literally you ghost me for 2 weeks after knowing that I will commit suicide over something like that, I have to turn in the crimes right away. The more time it takes you to do that, the more harm I take. My problem with her was that she lied to me about if I text her or message her, she'll at least get back a hold of me. And she literally ignored me for over 2 weeks. It doesn't help me, it only helps my predators. For me to waste time on somebody who's not actually going to help. For me to waste time on people who want to just tell me they're sorry that happened to me. What is it that lets me know that somebody might help me turn it in? Dude, that's fucked up. Somebody needs to do something about it. And I say, well, you're someone. You are a someone. You can do something about it. How many hundreds of people have been recorded on my channel? Their excuse for not trying to come forward is that they didn't have any power. You are a human being. If all of the people who said that they didn't come forward because they don't have any power, if they all came forward at once, they would have a lot of power. Now, I posted their excuses on the internet. When they say they're afraid of the police, yes, I on the internet. If my friends and family aren't going to help me because they're afraid of the police, will understand that I'm being treated like I'm making up your fears of the police. Matter of fact, I'm being treated like I made you up in many cases. Joanna Taylor Smith, I knew her in person, got treated like I made her up. My predators slandered me all over the internet. My friends never bothered to try helping me defend myself. They never bothered to speak up for me. They argued on Facebook a little bit, but they weren't fighting for my rights. They made no effort to help turn it into the courts. The ones that claimed that they didn't do it with me, didn't save any evidence, don't even know what fucking officer they talked to. They didn't record it. They don't know what time. They don't know what day. There's a lot of people, Aaron Cockerham, who made those claims too. Like all these people who claim that they would turn it in, they don't save any evidence of it. So that allows the police to sell whatever narrative they want because you don't come forward. Because you don't come forward. Talking to the peanut gallery here is different than calling with me to make sure that Adult Protective Services does their job. Let me see, Special J33 typed. I can try to turn it in and link the videos to Adult Protective Services. It may not do any good, but it's something. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. The other thing that you can do is that you can make a video where you explain what it is that you've seen, that these things are happening, that they are repeated. You can speak up about what's in those videos. You can explain why it is that I have to be afraid, that you have seen why I have to be afraid, why my friends have to be afraid, why my loved ones have to be afraid. You can explain that you've seen that I'm stuck with addicts most of the time. The people who are nice to me are people at businesses that I still have to be afraid because it's illegal to loiter. It's illegal to live anywhere if you don't own a house. You can speak up about the immense cost of it and how I have to live on $800 a month, which may sound like a lot, but right here in Tillamook, I got to come up with $3,200 a month to have a roof over my head. Getting into housing is important, but emergency housing is even more important than that. One thing that people can do is that they can help me get a lawyer. If they don't send the money directly to me, then they won't take my money away from disability. That's one of the things that I was being threatened with, having a felony charged against me, because people were sending me $50 here, $80 there, and then there's almost $2,000 that was donated to a GoFundMe that somebody else made, that I didn't get any of that money, because I didn't make the GoFundMe. It was actually two different GoFundMes. The other one was like $1,700. I didn't see a penny of that. And the people who donated money didn't speak up. They didn't help me to speak up about being defrauded. All they did is say they were sorry. Candace said, "Oh, I'm giving you all your money back." I needed that money to take care of myself and defend myself. All of my money had been wasted. I had to pay my predators so I wouldn't end up on the streets. I had to pay them more than we agreed upon. Over and over again, all of my disability money going to people who didn't help. They were too busy getting drunk with my money, getting stoned with my money, snorting my money up their nose, or doing mushrooms with my money, or getting laid with my money. My predators claim that I didn't try to get help. There is evidence that I have done nothing but try to get help. That even when I broke the law, it's because I was forced to. And instead of actually harming human beings, I spoke up. There was only 2 occasions where I actually threatened other people's lives. I admitted to both of those occasions. I admitted whose life I threatened and why. One of them was after my grandma's funeral. The man's name was Ted Bollinger, and he's a rapist and a pedophile and a woman beater and drug dealer galore. He also pimped out his own daughters. Also, him and his family gaslighted the hell out of me, and all of these Natalie Bollinger groups slandered the shit out of me, and all of them tried to they convinced people to hate me so those people would go through and find little bits and pieces out of context they could use to have me harmed. I didn't have anyone help me with that, did I? The ones who did finally collect stuff and send it to me. Never came forward with me to the courts, never tried, literally made zero effort to ever attempt to turn anything in. By their own admission, Dan Fabert, Shannon Alvarado, none of them ever made an effort. The cops slandered all those people who claimed that they were going to help me, but then again, They didn't, because those people didn't follow through. And then, of course, because they don't come forward, they get treated like I made it up. You guys can hear the conversations of people. Did I make those people up? Or am I just the world's best ventriloquist? Another thing, though, is Special J33. It's important to record it. If you record it and you send me a copy of the recording, or make a call with me to turn it in, or, well, you got to explain to Adult Protective Services about me being at risk, about me being stuck out here. Sensory processing issues means that while I'm stuck out in public, I'm afraid. I'm also overwhelmed. No matter what, medications don't fix that. Beating on me doesn't fix that. Yes, I can handle being out in public, but I've been stuck in public for years, or with people who are, well, quite frankly, drugged out, drunk, and fucking volatile. Now, one of the worst things is that I'm overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. Redirecting it in any way, shape, or form is unacceptable. It's rude. It's not just rude, it's detrimental to my health and to human lives. The more people crack jokes at me while I am trying to explain something serious, the more I just want to blow my head off over it. But instead of doing that, I continue to try to speak up to be heard. I've had a lot of people who offered to help me turn it in and promised to help me turn it in and wasted a lot of my time. But in the end, none of them ever actually helped. They procrastinated for long enough that I went, you know what? I can't keep these people's names secret. I can't keep them safe. This is gaslighting. They're here for entertainment. It's not about finding the truth and turning in the predators. It's about satisfying the curiosity for these fucking idiots and their entertainment. I created this channel to help stop abuse, especially by mandated reporters. I still can't find my rolling papers. I have injuries to my L4 and L5 vertebrae in my back. I have degenerative disc disease, matter of fact. I also have, apparently, according to one of the doctor's papers that I have a wedge in my T11, T12. Now, in between those areas are highly sensitive areas. I explained to the doctor at the hospital here that I had injuries at the L4, L5, that's the lumbar vertebrae, the ones at the bottom. And he touched me up near the T11 and T12, which is where another injury is. And that's the thoracic vertebrae, that's the vertebrae in the rib area. And the cervical vertebrae are the ones in your neck, holding your head up. I'm in constant pain because of it. When that doctor touched me between the T10 and T11, or T11 and T12, and I hit the floor like a fucking rock, I was in so much pain. He was mad at me and yelling at me and berating me as if I was making up my injuries. Because when I was telling him my injuries, I didn't get to finish the list of my injuries because he started fucking talking. Special J33 type. I found the video of you being arrested by police. I saved it and will send it to Adult Protective Services. Thank you. Thank you very much. A lot of the videos where police did wrong shit, they were able to separate me from my friends and family. That's social isolation. That is important. That is a key detail. As an at-risk and disabled adult, they do not have the right to separate me from a parent or guardian. That's how they prevented me from being able to take care of myself and turning them in. There was a bunch of caseworkers and therapists recorded on my channel. It's recorded that I did tell them about the abuse, and none of them at any point in time made any effort whatsoever to help turn in those crimes. When I'm told I didn't try, no, they didn't try. How many of these people have I explained about the abuse? How many therapy appointments have I gone to? How many times have I had to pull out my Medicare and Medicaid card to get started there? And guaranteed they're going to charge Medicare and Medicaid every time, but to this day they haven't contacted police to work together with Adult Protective Services. If you found the one of me being assaulted at a Boulder Public Hospital, that's Officer Waylon Lolotai, WAYLONLOLOTAI. You can look up a whole bunch of settlements and a whole bunch of monies that the city of Boulder has paid out because of, well, I'm not the only person who was recorded on camera being assaulted by Waylon Lolotai. I'm just the only one that nobody ever tried to get the body camera evidence of. So they get to sell whatever narrative they want. What they say, you believe. The things they claim, you have to believe, blah, blah, blah. They claimed I tried to bite them. That's in my paperwork. Let me show you something. There are literally 0 teeth in my head. There are no teeth in my head. None. Hasn't been for years. What Natalie saw in me, I have no fucking clue, but it ain't my looks. Special J33, there's a lot of stuff here. If you and your friends, I don't know if you have any friends that would care, but if you can go through the videos the last few days and try to send them to anybody that you can and write letters or type letters at them, I'm not able to do that from my phone, and that's hard to explain. But you can look up all these different agencies and you can send the evidence to them. You guys can do that. You can also, after you've done that, doggedroman@gmail.com. You can send evidence that you did so there, or you can stay in correspondence, not give me your number. That way, for your safety, your number isn't given out by me, but these agencies do have your number. That way, when it comes to the evidence, I can reference you and the agency that you went to, although they probably won't do anything about that either. Another thing you can do, you can call me via, no, that won't work because I have to do it through my smartphone. Oh my God, I got it. If you could buy me a smartphone with 3 months worth of service, like an actual smartphone, not one of the flip phones, then I can use one of the smartphones for communication, and I can use the other one to show evidence with. That would help out a whole lot. I could use this phone that's all cracked and broken. At least it sort of works and has a lot of evidence on it. So this one I can use for showing the evidence and use the other one for recording when I have to go to these places. That way I don't have to make a choice between recording for my safety or showing them evidence, because I only have one device and I can't do both. Without a friend or family member there to help keep me safe, I have to make sure that I record for my safety, and I've been told that repeatedly. I was also told that if mandated reporters don't do their jobs and their agency that they work for has done so already, that I do have the right to record it. I also have been instructed that if I have reason to believe that I will be victimized or that mandated reporters will not do their jobs, for any reason at all, that I do have the right to record it. The fact that I was right when I recorded it shows that all of these mandated reporters, almost every mandated reporter in Tillamook at this point, is going to lose their jobs. They won't have any preachers. They won't have any churches open to feed the homeless. Half the staff that feed the homeless are actual staff members with the churches. They're part of the clergy. They're required by law to be mandated reporters. They will all lose their jobs. All of them will have to spend a lot of money. Oh, wait. But when they victimize us, how much money does it cost us? Do they stop to think about that? When they don't do their jobs as mandated reporters, what does it cost us? Physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically, and financially. A lot of people are afraid of a slap on the wrist for not doing their jobs. They're committing felonies, though, because they didn't want to get a slap on the wrist. First offense, it's probably not going to be a $2,000 fine. It'll probably be all right, well, you guys need to go through the mandated reporter training courses. Again, obviously. And we're going to make sure that your company does that, but we're also going to have to remove you because we can't trust you because you've taken the reporter training videos. You guys can go through all of these professionals that are legally required to have this training. That's right, legally required to have this training are all lying to me. All changing their minds over and over again. They know what processes to follow, and they have elected to pretend that mandated reporting is an elective. It's oh, well, if I don't really feel like it, I don't have to. Let's see, Special J33, type what's the officer's last name. I wrote down the first name, I just need his last name. Which officer? Oh, Waylon Lolotai. WAYLONLOLOTAI. By the way, they refused to give me his name. I had to find out his name from Colorado Donkey Watch in 2019. But there's a lot more assaults by officers that have happened since then that I wasn't able to get the cameras of. Any of them. They outright refused to investigate themselves and sent me to the Nebraska State Patrol, who said they can't police the police. Turns out they are literally supposed to police the police. That is their job. I went to Scott DaCosta about his deputies repeatedly. And what did he do? He committed felonies to retaliate against me for turning them in. And Nebraska State Patrol telling me to turn it in to Scott DaCosta, who committed felonies against me, resulted in over and over and over felonies being committed against me. Please explain to these people that having a victim turn in rape that was committed against them to their rapist is uncalled for. And as an at-risk and disabled adult, this is a heinous crime. This is worse than rape. I can tell you as a victim of rape as a child that yes, this is absolutely worse than rape. I didn't want to kill myself over people raping me. I wanted to get as far away from it as possible, and I wanted them to go to prison for the rest of their lives. Special J33 typed write it down. Sir, I have written it down. I have typed it down. When I go to jail, that's the only place that I have where I don't have to have sensory overload issues like I do here. But also I have to be afraid 24 hours a day, 7 days a week in jail or prison, same as I do out here on the streets, because I am alone. I am an at-risk and disabled adult, and I am at extreme risk because I am always alone. Oh, you meant write it down. You mean Waylon Lolotai's name. Lolotai. As far as writing down my story, I have to find a place where I can actually sit down and do that. And I have to have help while I have that place. Like, I can't have some fucking junkie who thinks that she was part of some Illuminati program telling me that, hey, you know, I'll help you this weekend if you... And then I get a room, I rent the room so that she can help me long distance, and it ends up being her talking about herself nonstop like a fucking junkie. Alright, Special J33 typed, also got your email wrote down too, so I can send you the proof I turned it in. Very cool. Also, there's the assault by Waylon Lolotai. That's the one in the hospital in Boulder, right? That's Waylon Lolotai, and it should be in the video. If you let me know what date it is or the name of the video that I was assaulted in, we can take a look at that too. There's also, like, this has happened across the United States, so the issue is jurisdictionally where I'm at. The assault by the hospital staff here in Tillamook, I have to get the camera from the hospital of the assault. The assault by Stephanie L. Stephanie. Now, the other thing is, none of these deputies are going to do anything to investigate any crimes against me, specifically due to the fact that they have known I'm trying to turn them in since I got here, and they started pulling bullshit. Ever since that situation with Molly. But you also get to see, I patrol where I'm at. If I'm in an area and somebody's being harmed, I'm not going to look the other way like a fucking piece of shit. I'm going to see the victim as a human being, and I'm going to try real fucking hard to see the predator as a human being too, so I don't do something stupid. You get me? Now, another thing you can do, Special J33, is you can speak up on your channel. Obviously, you've got one. Obviously, you can make videos. They might be low quality like mine because I don't know how to do any of the editing stuff. But that's a possibility. But I need people to speak up publicly and also to understand that, yes, I did do what would be considered wrong shit. But the thing is, how wrong is it if officers told me it was not illegal when other people did it to me? When literally hundreds of other people did things to me that all I did was threaten to do those. Well, that's not true. I threatened to do them back, which is not the same thing. See, while my predators before Natalie was killed elected to stalk me and harass me and threaten to kill my friends and family, I elected to go to my friends and family and to the police and to mandated reporters like Brenda Dickinson to try to get help. I tried going to the police about it on multiple occasions. Did I go to the police at first? No, I didn't. I didn't even try. Of course I didn't. I was raised with the McGruff stuff. Tell your bully how it makes you feel. If that doesn't work, travel in pairs. If that doesn't work, go to your trusted adult, or go to a police officer or a doctor or a nurse, your school nurse at work, or your school guidance counselor or a teacher. And all of these mandated reporters want to pretend that it's only for kids. It's not. Let's see. Special J33 typed. I think that's it. Same, I can't edit. He also typed, I apologize for my bad typing. I am 78 years old and can't see well. That's alright, Special J33. So, I'm assuming based on the name that you're into airplanes. Very specifically, you're into jets. Either that or you just really like Michael Jordan. Was he 33 or 32? Special J33 type, yes, I like planes. Me too. I got a few studies that I took. I designed a propeller that's also an engine, so you can take the transmission and stuff out of a small helicopter like an OH-6 Cayuse. But I also like the TH series engines, and the Westinghouse 9.5. That's the first produced American jet engine. It's actually pretty cool, and it's small. Special J33 type 2 was 23. See, you're one of those people who cares about sports a little more than I do. I only know who Michael Jordan is because he was like the most spectacular person of the 90s, and everybody couldn't stop talking about it. It's late enough that I have to travel to another parking lot. One thing that you can help to explain is that this is a very unsafe situation, and that for me to be stuck in an area with my predators, not being able to turn them in, and the harm that has been caused to me. I mean, I'm victimized everywhere I go by law enforcement. Law enforcement has been telling homeless people here stuff that's not true about me. That's called gaslighting. Meanwhile, the homeless people, they don't have very nice things to say about the cops, so most of them aren't giving me any shit about it. A few of them have come up to me and said that officers are telling them that stuff, but shit. For the most part, I mean, they're not messing with me over what the cops said. All the homeless people that I have issues with because somebody said something to them, it's because they're friends with somebody who's predatory towards me, or one of their friends is reported on my channel being an asshole, and their friend is pissed off and wants to retaliate. What better way for you to retaliate than to have somebody else do it for you? That way, oh, it wasn't me, it was the one-armed man. I didn't do it, somebody else did. I had no idea. Oh, it wasn't my fault. See, that's why I let my predators know. The people who spread rumors and lies about me, I do let them know. I let them know what people have done to me over that. Like Natalie Bollinger claimed that I stalked her. The evidence shows that I didn't stalk her. It shows that her friends and family, though, gang stalked me for over a year before she was shot. Gaslighted the shit out of me. What did the police do to help? They told me they had real police work to do. They just needed to man up. There was nothing they could do because she was in Virginia, which turned out to be bullshit. She wasn't in Virginia. She was in Colorado, which I didn't know for certain until after she was dead. Before that, I was surprised. I was fucking scared shitless to find out that she was in Colorado when she wanted to meet me that day. I was like, holy shit, she's in fucking Colorado? All I wanted to do was run out of the state. But instead, I did what it is that I had to do. I had to fucking pull on my big boy panties because this is the opportunity to get the abuse to stop that I had been fucking working so hard for. But it wasn't her. And of course, I made predictions on what was going to happen in these situations, the most likely to the least likely. And guess what? I am more often right than wrong by a lot. Also, my phone's about to die. Special J33 type Sean, I will contact Adult Protective Services and shoot you an email next week. At the very least, they will see you being assaulted. Well, the thing is that it's the longer it takes, the more likely I am to commit suicide. I mean, it's been 6 years, and people say, oh, well, what's another week? Another week is another series of crimes that were committed against me that are going to be ignored because the statute of limitations is over. It's not just that one crime, it's also the sheer amount of crimes against me. I have to go see, oh wait, next week is Monday, you're right, my bad. You can shoot them an email this weekend and they'll get to it on Monday. Another thing that you can do is call their crisis line and explain that I am unsafe, that the situation for the last few days here is proof enough that obviously I'm going to be abused, I'm going to be punished and retaliated against if I try to turn any crimes in this town. You could explain that I have communication disabilities and that the officers have repeatedly exploited it, despite the fact that I told them those things because they were supposed to be there to help me, not to grill me and not to harm me. And that literally the officers that I was having sent to me were the officers I was trying to turn in instead of their sergeants. By the time they finally did send their sergeants out, how many months had it been that I'd been calling them up and saying, hey, you know, I'm being told that I have to go to your higher up the command. I have to go up the chain of command. I've been trying to climb up the chain of command. It's already been 6 months of me attempting to climb up the chain of command. And every time they kept sending back some idiot like fucking Lotham, if they sent anybody at all. No, it's not okay for Lotham to come bully me. I'm calling 911 about abuse by them, and the fact that I am afraid of them, that I can't go to them about crimes committed here because they're committing crimes themselves against me, including neglect against an at-risk adult. Anyway, thank you very much. I forgot it's the weekend for a second when he hit that. But that's another thing about them not getting the process started right away. They do have places that they can put people who have been victimized immediately for their safety. Every county has. Every single county has to. Of course, one of the jails that I was in when I was a kid was the halfway house that they had for a county my mom was traveling through. And it was literally a part of the jail. They had the men's part of the jail and the women's part of the jail, and the women's part of the jail rarely ever had anybody in it, so it was basically separated into individual, very nice cells. They would be considered they'd be considered a cheap hotel room by our standards today. But their safe house was literally in the jail. So if you needed to stay for the night, you needed a safe place if you were abused, they'd take your abuser to jail, and then you'd go to jail with your kids and stay. But, you know, what that allows is it allows the victim to have a place where they can sit down in peace and quiet, especially an at-risk adult who needs it. It is absolutely necessary for them to function. So that's probably one of the most important things to explain to them is I need peace and quiet, and I need to be able to trust the person that I'm going to for help. And I can't trust somebody who has already broken and betrayed that trust by not doing their jobs as mandated reporters. The running around in circles that I was sent on in the courthouse the other day, There was over a dozen felonies committed by the officials in just one video. Over a dozen felonies, just one video. The fact that they told me those things and kept it up and sent me in a circle and bullied me. I am an at-risk adult, and the way that they did that and did not follow procedure and sent somebody they knew could not take care of himself in a wild goose chase to try to take care of himself again. You know why I've been victimized nonstop for the last 6 years? Because I can't take care of myself, and they just pretend that I can. My disabilities only exist when they can use them to harm me. The rest of the time, I'm magically not disabled. I can do backflips and shit. Apparently. Anyway, I'm going to end this video because I can't just loiter here. It's gotten dark. I have to travel to another parking lot before they close here. Safety issues and all that. So, Special J 33 type. I will do it ASAP. I won't waste time. I keep dozing off. It's 12:30 here. Also, I can see why you get frustrated. People thinking this channel is a form of entertainment. Yes, sir. I'm also frustrated with a lot of people who are seeing the evidence and saying they can't do anything. The evidence is literally there, and you guys have the ability to turn it in. The victim, if they try to turn it in, we're not treated very well, obviously. The only truly effective way to do it is to turn it in with the victim, to go through the evidence with the victim and turn it in with them in person. But there's some close enoughs that I've had to settle for, which is calling in with somebody that end up being the wrong place. They send us somewhere else. But the people that I call with aren't prepared, and they don't speak at all when they should. The situation with Jared Scudder helping me turn in one of the crimes here is that they're trying to pretend that because I didn't write a written report that they didn't have to investigate it, and it's my fault that those predators are still free harming me. No, I tried to turn them in, obviously. Obviously. So thanks, Special J33. Obviously it's not something that I want. When I expose the conversations between me and my friends on Facebook and YouTube, it's not because I hate them, it's because people are harming me. When I get desperate enough to post up all of our conversations on YouTube or Facebook, that's why I tell people, don't tell me anything that you wouldn't tell the police or the public, because I'm going to go public with it if the police won't accept it. And if you don't assist me in turning in your words to the police, then they're far less likely to accept it, and I will be forced to put your name on YouTube, put our evidence on YouTube. Not just their names. A lot of these people, they promised to help me to turn it in exchange for keeping their names safe instead of posting it publicly, but they procrastinated and wasted time, and people kept on hurting me and kept on threatening my friends and family, and I went, you know what, these people are never going to do it. When I told Natalie Bollinger, one of the most important things to me was that she paid attention to me. Do you know why that is? It's because, for me, I'm never anybody's important anything. I mean, I'm 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, or 20th on the list of giving a shit, on anybody's list of giving shit, if I was ever on the list. So between getting drunk with Uncle Charlie 30 times in the next 6 years, or getting drunk with Uncle Charlie 29 times and helping Sean twice, yeah, getting drunk with good old Uncle Charlie. By the way, to my knowledge, I do not have an Uncle Charlie. I'm just saying in general. For most people, they haven't lived through enough bodies to understand that procrastination leads to carcasses, and carcasses fucking stink. And they stink even worse when it's somebody you love. All these people pretending that I'm a horrible person because I defended myself against my loved ones, or spoke up about the situation with my loved ones. Yeah, just because I love you doesn't mean that I deserve abuse. When I tried to turn in my mom back when I was in high school for the crime she was committing, she kicked me out of the house, and I hadn't tried to turn her in for the crime she was committing because she hadn't committed them yet. I tried to turn in Doug Cowden to my mom, explaining, hey, lady, he stole all my money under false pretenses. So she went out there to recover my money and came back with cocaine boogers and her hair messed up and, well, it's 12:30 where you are, and it is 9:30 here, so you are Western Seaboard. Yeah. If you could explain that I tried to go to the mandated reporters and they wouldn't do their jobs. There are mandated reporters that don't have a choice. I mean, if you make a report as a mandated reporter, you actually don't have the right to privacy on that. What you do have the right to privacy on is if you're trying to privately turn in abuse. You are allowed to, anonymously turn stuff in, which is how a lot of people ended up having me arrested. By anonymously turning in crimes that didn't happen, and then they had to let me go because there was no evidence. See, they can arrest you based on just word of mouth from a stranger. But they tell you they can't look at evidence in person, in real life, that is right there. Alright, I think I've moved everything in my car 20 times. Giving me numbers to resources isn't help. Sending me to resources isn't help. Going to resources with me is help. Calling the resources with me is help. Explaining the seriousness of the matter is help. Alright, I'm gonna end this video because my phone's gonna die.